This is my game controller. There are many game controllers like it, but this one is mine. Without me, my game controller is useless.
Hey guys, welcome back to GameNTrain's Let's Play Skyrim, The Adventures of Khajii. So we last left off in the village of Riverwood after conquering the Embershard Mines. So whilst here we're going to be picking up 2 quests, do a little bit of shopping, and head towards Bleak Falls. So obviously here we are, we're heading towards the inn at the minute. Sorry, the local trader, sorry. In here that you pick up your first real quest, like side quest, which is to retrieve a golden dragon's claw, which actually does lead into the main quest line eventually. But this is one of the mods here. In most versions of Skyrim you won't actually see that chest up there. It's master locked and can only be opened via a key through the actual Riverwood trader key here. Now all shops have this now. Due to the improved thieving mods installed. Basically, that chest contains everything in the inventory that he would sell. So if you manage to take his key, which is quite difficult, and unlock his chest, you then have access to his entire inventory for free. And this, obviously, as you buy things, inventory will get less, but the gold inside would actually increase. So it's the skilled thief can kind of take what he wants. And make a profit out of it as well.
It's yours if you bring my claw back. Now, if you're going to get the...
So, like, first things first, yeah, what we want to do is get rid of all the loot we got from Embershard. We should get around about 1,000 gold from this, so selling off, like, the Staff of Familiar and the Steel Sword. Because at the minute we don't really want to use swords, we're leaning more towards the daggers for the backstabbing and the... Well, it feels more thiefy to carry a dagger than a full-on long sword, so that's the reasoning behind that. So obviously we've got a few books here, which aren't really worth much, but they're taking up space. And of course, all these gems, we've got garnets and amethysts and rubies we're going to get rid of. We're keeping, obviously, the lockpicks, they're very important. So obviously when you get a new place, you really want to look for like upgrades for your weapons. So if you've say got a iron dagger, and you find a steel dagger, you won't be picking that up, or even magical variations as well are quite good. And various armor upgrades. Unfortunately, there actually isn't anything here that we pick up, apart from maybe I think a couple of lockpicks, because all of our armor is better than what we get here. So yeah, we're looking just to like for some spells of use. Not really anything yet. And there should be a few lockpicks at the bottom that we'll pick up because they are quite important. And of course, iron ore being very important early on, as it lets you get up your smithing levels, which lets you obviously get the more advanced armors earlier on. You'll actually see us wearing elven armor relatively early, and even glass armor eventually, at quite a low level. So yeah, our quest here at the minute is to go to find Ralof, and basically get a quest to go to, I think it's Whiterun we'll go to, but we'll do that in another episode. We're actually going to head towards Bleak Falls first for the Dragon's Claw quest.
When I last slept. Where to start? Well, the news you heard about Ulfric was true. The Imperials ambushed us outside Darkwater Crossing. Like they knew exactly where we'd be. That was 2 days ago.
But it seems that there's a mole inside the Stormcloaks if they knew exactly where they were going to be. Which is a bit disheartening for the Stormcloaks, of course.
And ready to start chopping.
The cowards.
They wouldn't dare give Ulfric a fair trial. Treason for fighting for your own people. All of Skyrim would have seen the truth then. But then, out of nowhere, a dragon attacked.
You don't mean a real, live...
I can hardly believe it.
Yeah,
myself.
dragons are thought to be
there.
extinct at this point of the timeline. So obviously seeing a dragon is kind of a shock, as they haven't been seen for like thousands of years or something like that.
Nobody else has come up the south road today, as far
Luckily,
as
the game is set around the time where dragons just decide to reappear again, in their hundreds, in fact. So it's always good for us to do a bit of hunting later on.
You and your friend
Sure,
are
it's fun.
welcome to stay here as long as you need to.
Actually, the reason we're doing these story quests, at least the early ones, is so
Here's the key to
we
the
can have
house.
access to
Stay
dragon
as long as
fights,
you like. If
well,
there's anything else you
traversing the
need,
wilderness,
just let me know.
which are quite interesting. Not particularly difficult until later on, but
There
they
is
are very
something
fun
you
to
could
do.
for me, for all of us here. The Jarl needs to know if there's a dragon on the loose. Riverwood is
For
defenseless.
those of you who actually like
We need
to
to get
kill
word to
dragons
Jarl
and want a
Balgruuf
bit
in
more of a
Whitehall.
challenge, there
Send
are a lot
whatever
of dragon
troops he
mods on various
If you'll do
big
that for
mod
me,
sites
I'll be in your debt.
that increase the power of dragons by insane amounts,
Count on you.
making them really difficult to kill. So if
Saw
you want more of a
dragons,
challenge
did
with
you?
dragons, just you can
Tell
find
me.
mods easily
What was it like?
that'll augment
As
them.
big as a house?
Well, I'll be. That'd be a sight to see. Not that I actually want to see one, understand. I hope that
So yeah,
dragon's
from this
also
point I think we're going to
far
head
away,
towards
sure you made
the
it out.
smithy. There's a quest there, a little miscellaneous quest that we're not going to do, not yet anyway. But we are going to try and find some weapons and armor again, because the general trader didn't have much. So hoping to make basic leather armor, which is probably the best light armor we can get at the minute. Would be nice to replace our relatively poor hide armor at the minute. And of course, a hunting bow would be very nice. These are too expensive, the magical ones, so not going to bother with those. Again, even the magical, most magical things are very expensive early on, so you don't really want to be investing too much, especially since you can't recharge them. So if you try to use them too much, you basically won't have any effect because they'll run out of their charges. So you need to be kind of careful how you use them. So obviously here are some leather boots, leather bracers, and a helmet. And there's nothing else but heavy armor after that. So what we'll do is we're going to pick up the boots and the bracers, because that gives you a +2 armor or so. But we're going to ignore the helmet because we don't like helmets. Well, I don't anyway. Again, iron ingots, very important, so we're going to try and pick up as many as we can. I think we'll pick up about 22 with the money that we've got. Which is not bad actually, I'll give you a couple of smithing levels quite easily. So yeah, we'll pick up some of that. And I think we'll pick up that lockpick, and then we'll head off.
Until
So
next
one of the things
time.
you don't want to forget is to equip your new armor, which I kind of forget until around about here, when I realised I've just bought new armor. So obviously we're going to put on eventually put on our new boots, equip our new bow, which is not much more powerful, but that one extra damage could make a difference between killing an enemy or letting them live. Especially when eventually that damage could become ×3, so it could be an entire 3 extra damage. So you can't really complain if that one extra damage doesn't multiply to 3, of course, especially early on. So yeah, when you're heading towards Bleak Falls, you just follow obviously this road here. There's nearly always a pack of wolves just around the corner, usually behind those rocks there. We got lucky as only one, and it hasn't really spotted us. So we're actually going to snipe it through between that little crack in the rocks, and then head off again. There's usually 2 or 3, but we were lucky and only had 1 to deal with before we head towards the first kind of bandit hideout on the run. There's 2. There's sort of like a big tower, then this outside of the actual Bleak Falls temple, and of course there's the inside after that as well. So this is sort of like the first layer of bandit defences here. And early on, bandits aren't that much of a problem, but you don't want to be ganged up, especially if you're only wearing light armour. So you want to keep them at range and keep moving as well. What you don't want to do is stay stationary in a bullfight, because they move, and if you hit too many times, it could kill you. So you need to be careful. Obviously, when you first start off, you've got no way of zooming in to get a better shot off. So as you can see, I kind of missed one of the shots, but finished him off with the 3rd there. But not before I was detected. It's a bit unfortunate. Again, obviously, again at this distance, we're not doing particularly well. I'm going to hit him once at the minute. It should take about 3 arrows to down a bandit at this point with our current loadout. So yeah, as you see, like those like last minute moves there are just narrowly avoiding those arrows. So we didn't actually take any damage there, which is very nice, and obviously we made a profit in terms of arrows. Which again, it's, you always want to search the bodies of the dead in case, well, if they've got a bow, they'll have arrows, and occasionally your arrows will be reclaimable from their body. So, and as you level up your archery level as well, I think it becomes easier to reclaim them after a while, which is great for the more expensive arrows. Arrows can become very expensive. Like the glass arrows can be rather pricey. So yeah, the last bandit in this area is just there, and of course, me being completely incompetent, totally missed the shot, and get his attention, and just comes kills with. So we'll just stand up, try and get a few shots off, and then we'll realise, yeah, that, well, she's almost dead. A third shot there will finish her off. We were going to switch to our dagger, but we managed to get 2 shots off without getting any hits, so we thought it was safe enough to keep our bow out and do that final hit before she came and killed her. So yeah, there's always a chest up here. The loot's kind of random, but we've got a fair bit of gold there and a relatively valuable amulet, so we'll pick them up. We'll leave the heavier weapons and the armour, because we can't use them and they're not really worth that much, so it's pointless really picking them up if we're not going to use them. So yeah, after you've done that small little tower there, you just follow the road again, and to the left you'll see the steps to Bleak Falls eventually, which is a pretty large dungeon. I think it's filled with bandits, undead and spiders, if I remember correctly. So there's a variety of enemies, and there's a lot of loot in there as well, which all dungeons should have. There should be plenty of loot in there. So there's 3 or 4 bandits hanging out around the outside of Bleak Falls, so unless obviously again you're a warrior, you want to try and stay as stealthy as possible and pick them off one by one. They're not actually clumped together either. They tend to be split up a bit, so it could be in front of you and behind you. So you don't want to be engaging somebody from the front who's running towards you with a sword, and then still getting shot from behind. So you kind of want to keep cover to your side. So we're keeping the stairs and the walls behind us to block off any potential ambushes from behind, whilst we take on the guy from the front here. So yeah, the AI coming a bit dodgy, like there. He just stood there and took 3 arrows and died. So again here, you don't really want to rush towards enemies who've got bows. So avoiding those 3 arrows was definitely beneficial for the quick instant kill there with the dagger at the chest. So again, taking the arrows, so we've got around about 50 I think now, maybe more. Take some gold, then just head towards Bleak Falls. At this point in the game, the enemies you fight have nearly nothing on them that's of worth, but the odd gold here and there doesn't go amiss. So that's it for this episode of the Adventures of Khajii. So join us next time for episode 5. This is Adam from GameNTrain.com. Happy gaming and God bless.